Hey everybody, and welcome to another Mega Pokemon review on my channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Magikarp Evolution set. This set comes with 411 pieces and it's recommended for ages 8 and up. And we're going to start by taking a look at the first evolution in this evolutionary line, Magikarp. And I do find the overall look and design of Magikarp in this brick-built form to be a little strange and awkward looking. But with that being said, the Pokemon does have some really good printed detail all around, which is really great to see. And Mega also included a transparent rod that you can attach to the tail of Magikarp to give it the effect of jumping out of the water. I think my biggest issue with Magikarp here is that piece that they use for the mouth found at the front of the Pokemon. It just looks really strange to me, and honestly I'm not real sure what Mega could have done to make this look better. But I still find this to be an incredibly awkward looking Pokemon in brick-built form. With Magikarp out of the way, we're ready to talk about the main build for this set, which is its evolution, Gyarados. And my first impressions of Gyarados is while it is a rather repetitive build, I do think that the final product once it's finished does look pretty good. We're going to start by taking a look at the head of Gyarados, which you can see has some really nice printed detail for the eyes. I also like the inclusion of that dark blue piece found in the middle of Gyarados' forehead, and it's one thing that I continuously praise Mega for is they're not afraid to create unique exclusive pieces to get the look and design of the build. Taking a look at Gyarados from the side here, you can see that he does have some white fins on the side of his face. I also like the white spikes that run down his body and the inclusion of the light brown pieces found on the side of the build. Here's another look at the head of Gyarados, which again I do like the overall look and design of. And you can also see that there's blue whiskers running down each side of his face. I did mention earlier how I felt like Gyarados was a little bit of a repetitive build, and that primarily has to do with the building technique that Mega used to get the shape of his body. As we run along the side of Gyarados here, you can see that each section of his body is built relatively the same, which of course is why I state that I do feel like this is a rather repetitive build. But again, I do feel like it is worth it because the final product looks really great. Here's a quick look at the tail of Gyarados, and again, I do like how Mega uses unique pieces to get the shape and design of the build that they need. Gyarados does come with multiple ball joints found throughout his body, which allows for some pretty good range of motion and articulation of this build. What you're going to see me do is move around the ball joints of Gyarados just to show off the posability and flexibility of this build. And while I do find this to be a rather cool inclusion, we're going to talk about the downsides of it in just a moment. But again, I do like the creative freedom you have with posing this build. The one thing I found out about Gyarados while filming this review is he is a rather fragile build. Due to the building techniques that Mega used, when you rotate Gyarados too fast or roughly, he is going to fall apart in your hands. Which is a little bit of a disappointment to me because if you're a kid and you want to play with this build, it's going to end up falling apart. In the middle of Gyarados' belly, there is a small place to put this rod that is attached by a single 1x2 piece. And this is what you use to attach Gyarados to the build, and while it does work, I would have preferred something a little bit more secure as Gyarados is very top heavy and it is rather hard to place him onto the stand. Speaking of the stand, its design is very simple, meant to represent various colors of waves. And it kind of reminds me of the Great Wave painting, and if you look at it from that perspective, I do appreciate this build a little bit more. The Magikarp Evolution set retailed for $45. And for me personally, I do feel like that is just a little bit too much money due to how fragile the build is. If you're a really big fan of Magikarp and Gyarados, I do think it will make a great display piece. But if you're a kid looking for a play toy, this is a very fragile build and you're not going to have very much fun with it. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more reviews in the future.